minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to speak. I'm Sharon Hawkins. Our 21-year-old son, Bradley Hawkins, was killed in a skateboard accident on the Doodle Trail near the corner of Wilbur and North 4th Streets on November 10th, 2021, around 5:20. I respectfully ask for permission to place a small plaque to commemorate his death on the trail, and I'm awaiting that decision. Tonight I'm here for the young people who use the Doodle Trail. I'm sharing safety concerns and recommendations about the patch of trail that runs through the Westview Cemetery across from the police station. Bradley entered the trail and got on his skateboard at the top of the hill in the cemetery in the right lane. He continued to the bottom of the hill and fell when his board broke in two from hitting the dip in the road. Medical records estimated he was going 30 miles per hour. He died there from cardiac arrest. I have provided pictures number 1 through 10. Here are my observations and our concerns. Picture 1, the Doodle Trail sign makes no mention of skateboard precautions nor recommends helmet safety. Picture 2, there are no signs at the entrance of the cemetery showing that the right lane is for car traffic and that the Doodle Trail is on the left. Picture 3, taken this weekend. People use the car lane routinely as the Doodle Trail. We've observed this numerous times while visiting the scene. Picture 4, the view shows the steep incline back toward the cemetery entrance. Pictures 5 through 7 show the view down the other side of the hill where the accident occurred. Picture 6, the corner of the bottom is sharp and vision is limited with two-way traffic. Pictures 8 and 9, there's a dip in the road at the bottom of the hill, worse on the right side. There's also a deep steel grave. Picture 10, Bradley fell and hit the back of his head, then rolled face down. Witnesses says there was a skid mark 3 to 4 feet starting just past the dip in the road. His board was broken in 2 pieces. Improvements recommended. Number 1, adding a sign at the entrance of the cemetery stating car traffic to the right, trail to the left. Also adding a sign there and at the foot of the hill that says no skateboarding in the cemetery. Number 3, repairing the dip at the foot of the hill. Number 4, adding wear helmet suggestion signs such as helmets save lives. A helmet could have saved our son, per the coroner. The Director of Parks and Recreation told me that they would put up 2 wear helmet signs and the closest a half mile away. I asked for a 3rd sign at the cemetery entrance. I required an attorney to help review the risk. These improvements will not save my son, but could have prevented his death. It's already too late for him, but it could save the next person. It could also help with future liability for the city. I invite you to please take a walk on the trail. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Jeff Cooper.
Mayor, Council, I'm going to speak to you briefly here about item 10B, ordinance number 2022-11, the annexation of 6.715 acres of real property located at 210 Fern Street here in Easley. And my question is, why is this not following the normal process for annexation into the city? This thing seems to be rushed to the point that I think we're planning on having an 8 o'clock meeting for final reading or final vote on the ordinance. And we're just wondering why this one's not following the same process as it should be, and why is it being hurried up so, just as a point of clarification. So I know I can't get any two-way communication here. This is one way, but I would like a verbal or written explanation as to why. Thank you.
Sue.
Petkus. Almost, Lisa, this time. I'll be less than 3 minutes, don't worry. Mayor, Council, I have a rhetorical question. I know we can't have a discussion, but I was all excited about the comprehensive plan that we were doing. We did a survey on and we had workshops on, and I haven't heard anything more about it, and I thought it might be past due when we were going to be having more meetings, so I'm just concerned about the comprehensive plan, that that's moving along and that we'll be hearing something shortly. and that'll be posted somewhere where I can figure out where to look. Thank you.
I got your information, I'll get someone to email you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you everyone for filling out. Item 9, unfinished business, this is second readings. A is ordinance number 2022-01 to annex 17.047 acres. That's on Calhoun Memorial Highway, and that will be, the zoning designation will be GR2. That's right in behind the QT service station off of 123. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to bring it to the table.
Second. Mayor Womack, as I've said in first reading, I have a conflict of interest in this matter and will submit my recusal statement to the city clerk.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Robson represents the client, so he's not going to be voting tonight. Any questions about this one, Mr. Cook?
I did, I raised my hand during a work session, but nobody
I'm
noticed.
sorry.
That's okay. Again, I just wanted to ask, and I realize this is annexation, but, since we recently had a planning committee hearing, I wanted to make sure that this development, if I recall correctly, I think the developer was here last time, I don't know if he's here tonight, that there are going to be 2 entrances, and also that there are going to be sidewalks in this development. I want to just make sure that that is going to happen. And I look back and there was a comment about public or private streets, but in the LDR, land development regulations, there's no distinction as to whether it's public or private streets. And an example of that is Crestgate. They were private streets, and now it's a public street, but there are no sidewalks in there. So I believe for the people that eventually would move into that subdivision, it is important to make sure that those specifics are here too.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Hawkins, do you have anything to add to that?
Other than the planning commission approved it, and then city council approved it, it did skip a month. They asked to pull it last month, which is back for final reading tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
Call for the question.
Call for the question. All in favor of this ordinance, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Shall we have one opposed? And Mr. Robson. Item B, ordinance number 2022-06 to rezone 3.1 acres, 1.8 acres of real property on Liberty Drive from commercial to GR2. And I believe this is at Sitten, correct?
Liberty Drive said that is correct, sir.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to bring it forward for discussion.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, the planning commission met on January 17th, approved 4-0 for the rezone. The city council approved last month, and then it's back for the second reading and final approval tonight. The land is located at Sitten and Liberty Drive. It does not interfere with a right-of-way alleyway, whatever you want to call it, on the back side where the houses are at. And so I think we discussed that last month while he was here.
Any other questions? Comments?
Call the question.
Have a call for the question on item B. Anybody, all in favor of that, raise your right hand. Any opposed? 2022-07 to amend the fiscal year 21-22 City of Easley operating budget to reimburse the funds of premium pay that was spent for the ARPA, out of the ARPA money. Do I hear a motion?
Motion bring it to table.
Second. Second. Shannon, you want?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, just for the record, the City of Easley kept all departments open, personnel on duty, and delivered all services at pre-pandemic levels during the pandemic. City did not shutter during the pandemic and kept services to the public. October the 11th, 2021, during a council meeting, it was basically discussed and voted on that council should take action on premium pay for employees that provided service during the pandemic. And so basically what this ordinance does is it allows us to, this is the second reading, and this ordinance allows us to use ARPA funds to reimburse the city's general fund for monies that were used for premium pay for employees that kept the city open, moving, and services continued during the pandemic. Be glad to answer any questions.